Hi, this is the third part of my video driving my Tesla across the UK with my wife Jennifer. It was inspired by a comment on YouTube that EVs suck, which kind of made me laugh, kind of made me cry. I thought today I'd cover the cost of our trip and the watts per mile and the overall conclusions of driving from North Cornwall all the way up to Scotland and the Orkney Isles. Hi friends, I'm Nigel. I'm trying to reach the very hard to reach people who hate EVs and give my own experiences of driving one for the last 2 years. People who have videos that are anti-EV seem to be able to get hundreds of thousands of views. I don't, I'm happy with 1,000. So thanks to all of you who watch this video. And if you're here for the first time, thanks very much, very welcome. I'll start off by saying that if anyone should be stuck in the past, it's me, as I've been driving for 50 years, starting as a driver in the RAF and later as a representative, and for 20 years I did 40,000 miles a year or more. So I've driven over 1 million miles, but only 17,000 an electric vehicle for the last 2 years. But first, my wife Jennifer read me an item in The Guardian about a man whose insurance in a Tesla Model Y increased this year from £1,200 to £5,000, and some insurers refused to insure him. Well, my insurance this year for a Tesla Model 3 did increase by 60%, and that's way too much, from £360 to £580. But the first year it did reduce £20, which is the way it should do. If you had no claims, insurance should go down. But my story never got in the papers. It wasn't an extreme case. And so often in papers we read in extreme cases, especially about EVs. And if you haven't got an EV, how are you going to know? The press are pretty anti-EV, sadly. I expect insurance companies were spooked by the car carriers' fires that most people wrongly believe was caused by an electric vehicle. So I can easily believe insurers reading about the car carrier fires blamed on EVs thought it was a really good excuse to increase premiums and make a few extra $1 billion or pounds this year. Back to our road trip to the Orkney Isles at the top of Scotland, driving through the UK and from Cornwall. So it was 800 miles and it cost me £57 using Tesla Superchargers. Now I regularly compare my Tesla Model 3 to my Audi A3 diesel, my previous car, which had a very nice stop-start function, which meant that when you got to a junction, the engine turned off, and I like that a lot. Well, that averaged 45 miles per gallon. I used to like to believe it was 50, but it never was, and I used to like to do the numbers as I've always done on all my cars for 50 years. And 45 miles per gallon is an average for diesels. So at £6 a gallon, the cost would have been £106 using my diesel Audi A3. So the Tesla Superchargers are not quite half price, but pretty close. When we were in Kirkwall, we visited the gin distillery and coffee shop a few times, and it has free Tesla Supercharging, which brought our costs to under 50% of our previous diesel car. They do a great coffee there, and I thoroughly recommend it. And a couple of times they switched it on for us, because they switch it off because sometimes people have been using it and not a customer. So they're more than happy. We're buying coffee, some snacks, and it does make a difference actually. So we very much like free Tesla Supercharging. I know a lot of people want to drive 500 miles without stopping. Well, that's what they say. I certainly would not enjoy doing that. Please try doing that with children in a car. And yes, I was a lorry driver in the RAF and did many miles and never really did 500 miles. That's unthinkable, and that would be absolute agony and probably quite dangerous, I should imagine. But please leave your comment below and tell me what you think. Every time we stopped, we were never waiting for the car to finish charging, visiting loos, having a coffee, stretching legs. If we had a meal, we had to leave the meal to move the car as it had finished charging, and you don't stay in a charging place when you finish charging, stopping someone else charging. So the watts per mile for the trip to Scotland were 228 or 4.38 miles per kilowatt hour. Since we've had the car, it's averaged 239 watts per mile, giving an average of 4.18 miles per kilowatt hour. In the Orkney Isles, there are no motorways, just lovely straight roads where tailgaters can pass me by without a problem. And I've managed as good as only 170 watts per mile, giving a fantastic 5.88 miles a kilowatt hour. But that is exceptional. But it does show just what can be done. And of course that would give me a range of close to 300 miles instead of the usual 220 miles in my standard range Tesla Model 3. As far as charging is concerned, in England its average is about 69p per kilowatt hour in most of the public chargers. Obviously at home you can do a fraction of that, and as little as under 10p a mile if you charge at night at home. Charge Place Scotland varies. It's 38p for a fast charger and between 20p and 28p for a slower one. So if you're in Scotland, you get a much better deal than you do in England. And if you can't charge at home, the prices are much better and cost of running an EV much lower in Scotland. So well done, Scotland. That's brilliant. I'm charging this one for only 20p a kilowatt hour at the Charge Place Scotland in Orkney, which is less than most people in England pay for daytime electricity. But some of us do get half that price on the nighttime rate. I hope you can subscribe and like if you did, and please leave a comment below. That would be fantastic. Don't forget to use your reusable coffee mug or tea mug wherever you go, or hot chocolate mug. Thank you very much for watching. See you next time. Take care. Drive safely. Bye.